Park it until the bus gets here, okay?
Boy, you two must be the worst bounty hunters who ever existed.
We caught you, didn't we?
You caught me. How do you catch someone who wasn't hiding?
You knew you were under indictment. Why did you miss your court date?
I didn't realize I had a court date. I thought the matter was taken care of by my attorney.
Yeah, we've heard that story before.
What were you doing in Brighton, New York?
I was transferred here by my superiors.
I guess you were an embarrassment.
No, I was needed here in Brighton.
Yeah, whatever. Now we're stuck here in this filthy bus terminal. How often do the buses get here, anyway?
Who knows? This is small town America.
The only reason why we're here now is there was no place else to go. Next time we'll bring a limo. That is, if there is a next time.
Tell me something. Why do you do what you do? Do you get a thrill of some sorts?
A thrill? Maybe some sense of satisfaction, but definitely not a thrill. I'll leave the thrills up to you.
Is that why you did what you did? For a thrill?
What do you know about me?
I know you're very deliberate, or a very sick pedophile.
Or both.
Don't judge others, lest you'll be judged.
My phone. Hello. Yeah, hi, Jennifer. Yeah, we got him. Yeah, I let him make his phone call. I'm well aware of the new guidelines and standards, my dear. All right, later. That's my niece. She's holding down the office from home.
You know, I think if you were to take all our shortcomings, ambitions, and emotions and put them in a bottle of wine and drink it.
Yeah, we'd all get drunk.
Exactly my point. The human condition. One big state of inebriation.
God, I hope this bus gets here quick. Oh, it's like 2 a.m. and we're in the middle of nowhere.
Schedule in the lobby said the bus should arrive in about 2 hours.
In this part of the country, everything is an approximate due to the severe weather conditions that often blanket the area. People often arrive early.
I'll be glad when we get back to civilization.
Me too. I could use a good meal.
Me three. I can use a bologna sandwich and a cup of yesterday's coffee at the Rikers Island Cafe.
Hey, listen, I hear prisons aren't so bad nowadays. You know, with a little luck, you could be, mowing the warden's lawn if you behave yourself. In time, you could move up and work in the laundry.
And what happens if I don't behave myself?
Well, then the corrections officers won't hear your screams when the 6'5" triple homicide introduces himself to you in the shower and orders you to soap down.
Ooh, that bad.
In your case, that would really be justice.
You don't think much of me, do you?
You're right, I don't think much of you. Being a pedophile is not my idea of being a responsible citizen.
Here, let's sit with these nice people.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, come in, grab a chair, make yourselves at home.
Oh my, are those handcuffs on you, sir?
Oh, yes. They're handcuffs. One size fits all.
Maybe we should come back another time.
Don't worry, it's safe. He's our prisoner. Everything is under control.
How's that coffee?
Not so safe. I got it from the vending machine in the lobby out there. And I think those donuts, they went stale a few years back. Can I get anyone a cup?
No, thanks, but maybe later, unless either of you.
Oh, no, I'll wait a while.
Are you folks on your way to New York City?
Yes, as a matter of fact, my sister just had a baby. We're going to be godparents to little Elizabeth Ann McGregor. We also have 2 other nephews. I'm John, and this is my wife, Margaret.
Hi, I'm Joseph, Hank, and this is Paul. You must be very proud.
Oh, she's a very happy baby. She weighed in at 6 pounds and 3 ounces.
Yeah, but can she cook?
No, but she can eat. Where are you folks from?
We're all originally from New York City.
All 3 of you?
Well, I was born in Rome, Italy. My parents moved to New York City when I was 12.
Is that a fact?
Yep, that's a fact. Under the circumstances, I wish I was in Rome now.
You a soccer fan?
Oh, definitely. Only in Europe it's called football.
Does Italy boast of having a soccer or football team?
Oh, we have an Italian soccer team. But it's nothing to boast about. Our team is so bad that when the coach started talking about tactics, the team thought the coach was talking about a new type of breath mint.
I take it the Italian team is not very good.
The last game they played, they lost 5-0. And we were lucky to get nothing. They say a pessimist sees the cup as half empty. An optimist sees the cup as half full. The Italian soccer team can't even find the cup.
I understand soccer has 22 players, 2 linesmen, and 5 million referees.
Yep, that's about right. What's your favorite sport?
I like baseball. Baseball players are cool.
Why? Do they sit next to the fans?
No, not quite. I also like golf.
Yeah, me too. Give me a hot-looking blonde, a beautiful afternoon, and a great round of golf, and I'll give you back the beautiful afternoon and the great round of golf.
It's a true golf is a lonely sport. I mean, you're always by yourself.
That's true, unless you pick up the wrong ball.
What about you, Margaret?
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not much into sports, although I enjoy a game of tennis from time to time.
Tennis is great for dieters. It's a sport where you serve, but never eat.
You can probably tell that my husband here is not very good at tennis.
Yes, be thankful you're both happily married.
I take it you're single. Were any of you ever married?
My ex-wife, all she cared about was my paycheck. You know, if money grew on trees, she'd have married a monkey. To her, men were all about the bank accounts. Without any money, there was no interest.
She sounded like a very materialistic woman.
You know, some people think that marriage is a way of tying the knot. I think of it as a way of tightening the noose.
Oh, was it that bad? Were you nagged a lot?
My ex-wife never had a brainstorm about anything, just a slight drizzle from time to time.
What do you think are your faults?
I'd like to hear the answer to that.
My ex-wife said that she was a fool when she married me. I said she was right.
Do you consider yourself an argumentative person?
You know what the difference is between an outlaw and an in-law? Outlaws are wanted.
Do you always look for perfection in people?
The man's a bounty hunter. Without imperfections, he'd starve.
Is that true? I mean, it sounds like you enjoy your line of work.
No, I don't hate it. And I do bring home the bad guys.
What did you do before you were a bounty hunter?
I was an auto mechanic at a muffler repair shop.
Did you enjoy that work?
Yeah, I sure did. It was great pay, plenty of overtime. And one day I simply got up and left.
Aside from the money, did you enjoy the work?
It was very nice.
Hi, all. I assume you're all waiting for the bus?
Yup, that too. Chatting about life while waiting. It's gonna be a while.
Pull up a seat and join us.
I see. Is it safe for me to sit and wait for the bus?
Don't worry, he's our prisoner. We're taking him back to paradise.
He doesn't look like a criminal.
Exactly what do criminals look like?
Well, on TV they're hard and mean, grumpy-like.
I think the word you're looking for is paranoia.
And coupled with an out-of-touch attitude.
With the cops having 1 hour to catch the bad guys.
I am so happy to hear that everyone has an opinion about me.
Americans are known the world over for their opinions on everything. I mean, that's what makes America fun.
I hope you don't mind if I don't join in the party. I'm kind of tied up at the moment.
Are you going all the way to New York City too?
Yes, I'm going to be the maid of honor at my cousin's wedding. And my brother is about to start his second tour of duty in the Middle East. I love him.
You have my respect. I'm sure he's a great guy, believing in his country and all.
Thanks. My brother believes in the decency of people. He's doing something to help people who are in need of life's basic needs.
I was in the Army during Desert Storm 1. You know, the military really makes you, aware of how lucky you are to be living in the U.S.
I imagine anyone in the armed forces gets to see how the other side of the world lives without the basic access to food, water, shelter, medicine, and the right to be free.
Most people are grateful for living in the U.S. by respecting the rule of law. All others don't.
So you think because I may have broken the law means I don't respect the law?
You're not exactly what I would call a model of respectability.
What exactly would you call yourself?
Certainly not a lawbreaker. Trouble, perhaps, but not a willful lawbreaker.
Isn't that what they all say when they get caught?
Like cheating on your income taxes.
How could you possibly equate cheating on your income taxes with you being a pedophile?
Is that what you're going back to face justice for? Sexual abuse of a child?
That's only half the story.
What's the other half? Did you abuse your own children?
No, they weren't my children. I am not married.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Better have one hell of a lawyer.
Lawyers, the law, now there's a joke. We spend more money per prisoner being tried and housed than we spend per pupil being educated in schools.
Hey, you want to know why New Jersey's got all the garbage and California's got all the lawyers?
No, why does New Jersey have so much garbage and California have so many lawyers?
New Jersey had first choice.
Very funny. Next time I'll rob a bank.
Banks are ridiculous. They're insured by a government that's $2 trillion in debt.
Why would it be so hard for you to lead a clean and honest life? Raise a family, have children.
Maybe not the children part.
I am not the monster you people think I am.
I could understand if you were a monster, but you are not a monster, so you're a human being.
So the next question would be, how could I do such a thing, being that I am human?
Yeah.
Good question. How could you do such a thing?
I've asked myself that question a million times.
Well, what did you come up with for an answer?
Aside from being a troubled man, I don't know.
Do you think you were cursed?
Maybe, if you believe in the devil.
Oh, what do you believe in?
Salvation, forgiveness, hope.
What would you say to the parents of the children you sexually violated?
Oh, I wouldn't know what I would say. Forgive me, maybe?
So do you think that they will, or better yet, should they forgive you?
I may be able to contribute in some way. End child pornography, for starters.
Child pornography is violence against children.
Can't anyone do anything to stop this?
Child pornography includes torture, bondage, sadism, and even bestiality with children.
My brother wrote to me about child abuse, sexual abuse, when he was stationed in South Korea.
Most Western countries, including the European Union, the United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States, have led the effort to forcibly go after child pornographers.
How old are the children that are depicted in child pornography?
As soon as they're born, they become targets. I mean, infants screaming and crying in pain and agony have been recorded.
My heavens, I mean, that's unbelievable.
Why do I suddenly feel the need for a shower?
And you, sir, you received pleasure from watching children engage sexually with an adult?
Call it whatever you'd like. Pleasure, satisfaction, mental illness? I don't know.
Do you think that child pornography led you to sexual abuse of a child?
What you're asking me is what came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't think one had anything to do with the other.
It's all part and parcel of the world of entertainment. Right, Paul?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. Honest, hard-working people watch crime stories on TV, and not every episode ends favorably. Does that make the viewers criminals? So why is it that only adults who watch child pornography are child predators?
You don't have to watch child porn to be a predator.
Yeah, more arrests are what's needed, and let the punishments fit the crime.
Viewing children in any sex act is outrageous. Rape, bondage, and torture are all about greed and violence aimed at the most vulnerable among us, babies.
We are getting some education here, John.
Is that what it's called? An education?
Maybe an awakening would be a better term?
Where do you think you'll be seated in eternity, smoking or non-smoking?
Since God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, he must have wanted us to do more listening than talking.
Please, and how do you converse with somebody who won't hear or has perverted ideas about sex and children?
My brother always said God believes in the fruits of the Spirit over religious nuts.
Religious zealots who blow themselves up are screwy.
Do you believe that we belong in the Middle East fighting?
Well, that's a very personal question for me. I've thought about it.
What did you come up with?
Peace starts with a smile. Maybe if we all lightened up and laughed more, there'd be less hatred and more love in the world.
Now that might work. We could all use a good laugh from time to time.
Love might be the answer. Hey, does anybody know where I can find a hot young blonde with a lot of money who might be interested in me?
Try the library under science fiction.
Oh, you don't seem that old.
I walked into an antique store the other day, looked around, said to the owner, hey, I remember those.
Well, I guess the only way not to see the wrinkles on your face is to take off your eyeglasses.
Yeah, but people need to look at getting older as a blessing.
Blessing, in what way?
All right. For example, if you were in a hostage situation, you'd be the first they'd let go.
That's true. And the older you get, the less likely anything you buy will ever wear out.
I mean, proper dieting helps people stay healthy and happy. I always use wine when I cook. Sometimes I even put it in the food.
You know, it's not politically correct to say people are old. We're chronologically gifted.
Do you exercise?
I used to exercise every morning, but I stopped.
Why did you stop?
Kept spilling my coffee.
You know, getting old is really not that bad. I mean, some of the sweetest music is played on the oldest violins.
Well, that might be true if you're a violin.
And senility might be a good idea. You get to go new places every day and meet new people.
Is that senility? Or being a bounty hunter?
You know, I'm a high school history teacher in Brighton, and I can tell you that history is loaded with meeting new people. I mean, in the classroom, I'm Mr. Carlisle, and when I'm with the football team, I'm coach.
When John gets together here with his buddies, that's all they talk about, football and baseball. That's all I hear. Football, baseball, football, on and on.
You should be very happy your husband enjoys his work. I hated mine. People were always arguing and poking fun at being a waitress. That's why I enjoy this. Now I don't have to hear, hey waitress, the toaster's burned, or the coffee's cold.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I see the way people treat waitresses, as if they're expendable. I mean, no respect whatsoever.
You know, the best way to relieve tension is to relax at home. You know, a few beers helps.
Mm-hmm. Especially if there's a ball game on.
Yeah, when I was a working stiff, I never had a title. Never needed one. My name was my title. But my brother-in-law, he was the Assistant Chief Executive for Sales and Investments of North America for the Bank of Canada.
Wow, now that's a title.
Started out as a clerk typist, worked his way up a corporate ladder by going to school.
There's two titles I treasure. Wife and mom.
Oh, I had the title of wife. Just got divorced. Now I'm referred to as someone's ex.
Were you employed, Paul?
Oh, yes. I had a career planned.
Oh. Did you work for a big company?
Yeah, one of the biggest.
Why would you risk it all? I mean, you seem to be a very bright, logical person.
At the time, I didn't realize the risk.
And now, how do you feel about what you did?
When I can control my risks, as you put it, I'll have a better idea of how I feel about what I did.
Were you a supervisor?
Sort of.
Well, what do you mean, sort of? Did you have a title?
Yes.
Well, are you going to tell us what did they call you in your place of employment?
Father Paul Morrison.
Well, that wasn't the worst cup of coffee I ever had.
The worst coffee we ever had was at the circus by the elephant tent when we nabbed that clown.
Wow, I can imagine what that coffee smelled like.
Oh, it stung. But the grab was worth it. A fugitive bank robber.
I bet you bounty hunters meet a lot of interesting people in your work.
That's the word for it. Interesting.
You ever become ill or discouraged?
Sometimes.
How do you manage to keep your sanity?
By staying above the fray.
Does that always work? Staying above the fray?
Not always. Nothing's ever absolute. But a good bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label happens to go a long way at smoothing things out. And then it's back to work again. Another felon in another town in the good old US of A.
If you weren't a bounty hunter, what do you think you would have liked to have been?
Everything he hates.
You are pathetic. You know, I feel sorry for you. You gear your life and dreams based upon what everyone else does or thinks.
Could be worse.
Oh, yeah? How?
I could be you.
Maybe you should lay off the scotch and try some wine.
Yeah, I'm sure a glass of wine and a wafer on a Sunday morning would go a long way.
It might. Just remember to wipe up afterwards.
Is that something you'd recommend? Church services?
Well, it's a whole lot better than the world you're living in.
What's wrong with the world I live in?
We're all part of the same hypocrisy, John. Take that company who built the fence to separate San Diego, California, and Mexico to keep out the illegal immigrants. Was built by illegal immigrants. Try reading the newspapers. It's all about hypocrisy.
I subscribe to Time and Newsweek magazines, a few sports publications. I find them to be incredibly informative.
Then you'll realize what got Richard Nixon into trouble is still around today. Foreign aid is still being rerouted from abroad financing politicians.
What does that have to do with anything? Okay. Tell me more. Still have a few hours before the bus gets here.
Okay, let's take politics. The Second World War is over. The Russian communist state collapsed years ago, and Europe is stronger today than ever before. So what is the US military doing in Germany, in Italy, and throughout Europe?
That makes it hypocritical to you?
It's hypocritical because the US Army is serving no purpose in Europe. The German government cuts back on its military spending, and we fill in the financial gaps. The US military has become a form of foreign aid while our veterans sleep on the streets.
Without being hypocritical or lying to us, tell us, what happened to those children that you abused? What type of lives did they live after your sexual encounters? Were there any after effects?
There may have been some short and long-term ill effects.
May have been. What do you mean may have been? I mean, talk about hypocrisy. Did you know that some of these kids have settled into a lifetime of mental depression, and there have even been cases of suicide?
There is no direct proof of that.
There's enough proof to have the district attorney bring criminal charges against you, and there are plenty of civil cases for wrongful deaths.
You know, as a supposed man of the cloth, don't you have any remorse, any regret whatsoever about the deliberate damage you did to those children?
How do you feel about religion, Father? Oh, or should I call you Paul?
Under the circumstances, I think Paul might be appropriate.
Okay. Paul, how do you feel about religion?
Well, the Catholic Church talks about celibacy as a requirement for priesthood. Priests can't marry. But didn't St. Peter have a mother-in-law? Tell me something. How does one get a mother-in-law without getting married?
That's not what I meant. How do you feel about the prosecution of the clergy under investigation?
Same difference. Hypocrisy.
You might have a card to play under the investigation.
Don't you think I know that? Spill the beans and everybody is satisfied. And I walk away quietly somewhere in the witness protection program.
You mean they would try to kill you for testifying?
Oh, I'm sure there is somebody somewhere that needs a favor that the church would be willing to grant if something final were to happen to me.
You paint one hell of a picture.
It's an honest opinion.
Honesty. Yeah, right.
Again, you've made my stay at this bus stop very informative, very entertaining. Thank you.
No, don't thank him. Thank me.
Theoretically, we live in a society that states all men are created equal. However, as Orwell said, it's just some are more equal than others.
Does that include the First Estate?
The clergy, or the First Estate, is included. We're all part of one gigantic world of Orwell's Animal Farm.
Does any of that mean anything to you other than some form of personal gratification?
Do you have any moral connection to what you did?
Moral connection. Now, there's a laugh.
In a world of immorality and self-preservation? Who is totally moral these days?
Oh, you are a disgrace. Why did you ever become a priest in the first place? Did you plan your acts from the beginning?
Paul makes it all sound so cynical.
Not cynical, skeptical. There's a difference. I worked hard at becoming a priest, but it's my nature to work hard at everything I do. I believe if you want your dreams to come true, don't oversleep.
You sound like an expert on skepticism. How did you come to have such negative opinions about everything?
Negativity is in fashion these days. Besides, what do you know about me? Don't you think I have shortcomings? What about my needs?
Okay, Paul, tell us, what are your needs?
Right now, I need a cigarette.
Didn't you see the no smoking signs in the lobby?
We're not in the lobby. We're in the main terminal.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means I need a cigarette.
Well, forget the cigarette. We're going to obey the law even though nobody's watching.
Yeah, well, I guess someone is always watching.
Does it bother you in any way to know that there is a higher law than man? Or do you feel as though you'll get a pass on Judgment Day?
Judgment Day. Now that's a laugh. Will you pray for me?
Do you think it'll help?
Can't hurt.
You know, coming from you, it seems Karl Marx was right about religion being the opiate of the masses.
Yes, it seems that way, doesn't it?
You call yourself a man of the cloth.
No, you call me a man of the cloth. I'm just a man.
How far up the ladder does it go on?
How far up the ladder does what go on?
The knowledge of any wrongdoings of the clergy by the clergy.
It's a good question. I'd like to know the answer to that.
I like you people. I'm going to be thinking about you for a long time.
The lady asked the question, how far up the ladder?
Yeah, I know, I heard. Whatever I am, I'm not deaf.
Are you going to tell us?
It's been around forever. Pedophiles exist in every walk of life, in every profession, in every endeavor.
You sound so blasé about the whole matter, even after you've been caught.
Does anyone really think that the Catholic Church can allocate millions of dollars to pay off victims without the Church's full consent?
Well, I guess that answers that question.
Full consent, huh? All the way up the ladder. Right into Rome?
Take a guess. Think about it.
Millions of dollars that have been donated by the faithful have been redirected to pay off victims of pedophile priests. I think it stinks.
Well, I guess I won't be getting that pass on Judgment Day.
Tell me, what other crimes are the church involved with, Father? Or should I call you Paul?
Paul. Just plain old Paul will suffice. You know, these handcuffs have freed me to think freely.
Hey, I never thought of that. You're no longer shackled. Look, you're free. Really free.
Ironic, isn't it? People who have committed crimes and get locked up are now free to speak their minds.
Without having any thoughts of being politically correct or offending a coworker.
Congratulations.
For what?
For sexually abusing a child and getting caught.
To answer your questions about crimes within the church, read the papers.
Listen, me and John here are respectable members of our community, and it is incomprehensible that someone like you exists, yet much live close to us in Brighton.
Do you really think that small town America is so immune from crime?
Obviously not.
Oh, I can attest to that. I've chased down felons in the most remote places imaginable.
You ever in Canada?
It's awfully cold in Canada.
I know, but isn't it illegal?
Who knows, but I do bring back the bad guys.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem right, breaking the law to bring back the bad guys.
Well, it's more in the matter of an accommodation. We go into Canada to get our wanted, and they come here and get at theirs.
Well, in the name of justice, I suppose.
All I know is I'm behind on my alimony payments and I need the money. Otherwise, they're gonna come after me.
Wonder when that bus is gonna get here.
What's the problem, John? You sound like you're not enjoying the company.
I find you to be interesting, Paul. Despicable, but interesting.
Don't worry. I won't be going anywhere near that precious baby.
If you did, I would kill you without mercy or conscience.
And what would that make you?
A human being who would have taken pride in seeing justice done and protect my family in the process.
Now you know why we go into
All
Canada.
right, okay, let's just not get too heated, okay? Let's try keeping it civil.
You know, I understand that baby killers and child molesters are very much hated behind bars.
Yeah, he'll be placed in segregation to protect him from the other prisoners.
So there is justice in the world after all.
Is that what it's called? Justice?
Revenge. Closure. Call it what you like.
Well, I'd like some compassion. Mercy, even.
Mercy? Who would ever give you mercy?
Well, it's natural. The condemned want mercy and the victims want revenge. Somewhere between mercy and revenge lies justice.
Oh my God, you know you should be severely punished for what you did.
Some sort of capital punishment, I would imagine. Come on. We've all broken the law. Don't you cheat on your income taxes?
And you equate being a pedophile priest with cheating on our income taxes. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. Go to hell, Paul.
John, it's not a nice thing to say.
I'm sorry, dear.
No, never apologize for the obvious.
With over half the globe living on less than $2 a day, here we are trying to understand a pedophile priest.
I think anybody.
People on Facebook and Twitter and all these social sites chat about going to the grocery store or to school, to the barber. It's a part and parcel of living out loud. Narcissism.
So is that what's going on? Some type of narcissism? Personal absorption, conceit, vanity.
You know, we pretend to be helping others when in reality we're helping ourselves by extending those personality traits. I mean, people spend fortunes and go to extremes to be loved and worshipped by others.
And that to you is a bad trait?
We all pull for ourselves. Our loves, hatreds, ambitions. I mean, it's all part of that personality trait that even Sigmund Freud recognized.
Some type of emotional greed?
Exactly. A form of personal gratification or accomplishment.
Is that what you teach your students, that greed is good ideology?
Well, one can only wonder. What drives the George Washingtons, Abraham Lincolns, the Adolf Hitlers of this world? What motivated these men to do what they did in life?
And you think it was narcissism?
The common thread to be uniquely different is what drives us all to be uniquely uncommon.
There are two things we have plenty of and export. Celebrities in rehab and weapons of mass destruction.
You know, this nation has had wars for over 100 years. Children grow up without their fathers, resulting in many kids growing up with emotional deficiencies, insecurities, not at all healthy.
You know, this conversation's getting deep.
As is what we step in and take into the house, only to notice the stink when it's too late.
Now that's deep.
You know, listening to you people makes me want to go back to the muffler repair shop.
Why did you leave?
Work was exhausting. I was making 6 figures a year, but there's a problem with the decimal points, at least according to the IRS.
Become a lawyer, and people will respect you. If you screw up, they'll call you senator.
What do they call somebody with a low IQ?
Your Honor?
It appears as if you have very little faith in the legal system.
I lost my faith a long time ago.
That's for sure.
I was referring to the legal system.
You know, there are 2 words in the legal system that you had better get used to hearing.
What 2 words in the legal system should I get used to hearing?
Lock in!
Did you ever meet up with the children after services? How long did you carry on your illicit affairs?
Well, I would often meet with my parishioners in some remote location after services and classes.
And all you cared about was to satisfy your lust. How long did you intend to continue carrying on your perverted needs?
It's all a part of that uncontrollable within everyone. A form of impulsive or compulsive desire, like an alcoholic trying to satisfy thirst.
At trial, do you intend on defending yourself, Paul?
Oh, no. I am what I am, but I'm not stupid.
You know, millions of dollars have already been paid to the victims of pedophile priests. Religions have been abusing children for centuries as sacrifices to so-called gods.
Anybody who abuses a child, sexually or otherwise, deserves to have a book thrown at them. And then, let them get acquainted with the rest of the inmate population in C-Block.
You know, I went to a Catholic school, and I saw lots of brothers and sisters use all of their might to physically punish children. Oh, those animals.
And now that you're an adult, it's get even time for all the abuse you witnessed?
You know, in a secular society, being a member of any religion does not give you a license to harm people of any age.
It's all about discipline.
Is that a fact? Discipline, eh?
I hope you rot in hell!
Whoa, sweetheart, I'll have none of
Just
that.
relax and have a seat. Excuse me, your name is?
Bridget. I'm Bridget Edwards, and that man...
Maybe meeting at this bus stop is fate, testing our degree of discipline. Nothing happens by accident.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Marchese. Hank Marchese.
I'm sorry, Hank. Because my brother is in the Marine Corps, we have a very high degree of responsibility in my family.
It's understandable. No harm done.
How old is your brother?
He's my younger brother. He's 26 years old. He joined the Marines right after graduating college and has been a Marine for almost 4 years now. My dad was also a Marine, fought in the first Gulf War.
Oh, you must be very proud.
I am. Even my grandfather was a Marine. He fought in Vietnam. We are all Marines.
So how do you like living in upstate New York?
I like it so far. You know, people don't realize what a farming community New York State is. My family came from Poland. They were farmers, real churchgoers.
The world isn't perfect. I mean, morality has very often been substituted for some type of self-righteousness.
True. You know, my grandfather often talked about the Lindbergh baby kidnapping case that happened in 1932.
Really? How so?
Well, taking the facts of the case, Grandpa found it hard to believe that Charles Lindbergh did not have a hand in kidnapping his own son.
Wasn't a German immigrant named Bruno Hauptmann convicted of kidnapping Lindbergh's baby and executed?
That's right. My grandparents also spoke often of that case. They also believed that Hauptmann didn't work alone.
Agatha Christie wrote a very famous book based on the murder of the Lindbergh baby killing, entitled Murder on the Orient Express.
Tell me, how does a kidnapper drive up to a 2-story private home in the middle of the night, place an enormous 2-story ladder against the building, leading up to the exact window where the baby was sleeping, open the window without the baby crying, remove the baby, take the baby down the same ladder, all without waking up the baby's parents, the Lindberghs, who were sleeping in a room nearby?
Why would Charles Lindbergh even consider having his own baby kidnapped in the first place?
Well, it's believed that the baby was born with some physical deformities that may have violated Lindbergh's sense of eugenics.
You know, it was a time and an age when ignorance and fear just grabbed hold of people and the children suffered. I mean, that trial of Bruno Hartmann was widely publicized as Germany were leading their march towards a final solution.
And throw in the fact that Lindbergh met with Adolf Hitler later on in the years following and had lunch with him, where they discussed the purity of the human race and people of Aryan ancestry. Well, then you put that all together, you have a recipe for murder.
You know, you might have a point there. It was noted that Charles Lindbergh flew over 50 missions over the Pacific in 1941 after the attack on Pearl Harbor, but Lindbergh never flew a single combat mission over Germany.
Oh, exactly. You know, I had a miscarriage when I was married. I wanted that baby so much.
Your feelings about the care and safety of children and are very understandable. Sorry for your loss.
Paul, is the transferring of members of the clergy handled in the same manner as other religions?
Well, I have known a rabbi or two and a few Protestant ministers who were transferred within their localities. Same policies exist in every religion and sect.
In an effort to sweep everything under the rug, I suppose.
Drugs, polygamy, child abuse, payoffs, it's all there. From breakaway factions like Osama bin Laden within the Muslim community to the Mormons who spent tons of money, not on charitable causes, but on political issues, like opposing California's Proposition 8 on gay marriage.
You know, I heard that charitable deductions reduce the public coffers by $60 billion a year, and it's up to us as taxpayers to make up the difference.
In your eyes, Paul, is there an answer to all the misdeeds within the religious community?
We all have to stop believing in fairy tales and question everything. We do not believe in the Word of God, for Christ did not speak English. We believe in the Word of man, interpreting the Word of God. It's time for us to all get real and cut out the bull crap.
Amen to that. Oh, man, I gotta get back in shape. Maybe start jogging again.
Yeah, you know, getting back in shape, it sounds like a good idea. Although I'm not a fan of jogging, maybe a early morning walk or a brisk sit.
Well, there's one thing we could all agree on. This place sure could use a sprucing up. A good paint job would go a long way in brightening things up around here.
Yeah, but who would you call? The supervisor's office? The Federal Department of Transportation? I know, the governor of New York.
Yeah, but then you have to feasibility studies, followed by environmental impact reports, followed by budgeting.
All that for a can of paint?
What would you do?
Make a phone call.
Yeah, but we don't have that type of political influence. We're working people. Who's got time for politics?
I'm lucky I have time to go shopping these days. After we drop him off, where are we off to next?
Oh, according to Jennifer, Pennsylvania, federal warrant for an escapee.
What an exciting life you two people live, huh?
Most excited I've been in recent times is when I got that hole-in-one during the Knights of Columbus golf outing last year.
Oh, wow. Really? Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly my point.
So where in Pennsylvania are you two headed?
Pittsburgh? Why do you ask? You want to come along?
Can I take a rain check on that?
It would be okay with me. I could use a break. Do some shopping.
You know, there's nothing wrong with being in politics. Cuts through a lot of red tape and feasibility studies, followed by some select committee on a can of paint.
You know, whatever happened to the idea of the separation of church and state?
Hey, that sounds like a good idea. Somebody ought to give that a try.
You know, it must be very nice to be able to pick up the phone, make a phone call, get someone to do something, whatever you want them to do without any hesitation, huh?
Oh, I could hear the conversation now. Hello, this is Father Paul. Can we get this place painted? Great. The bishop will be dropping by. Will the paint be dry by noon?
Yep, something like that.
Except it probably won't be the bishop. It'll be a golf pro trying to teach the faithful how to score with a 5-iron.
You don't think much of the church, do you?
It's all part and parcel of the same hypocrisy we all live under, remember?
Well, I can agree with you there. The scriptures were interpreted by learned men over 1,000 years ago who believed the world was flat.
Is that where the doubt comes in with you? Or is that some excuse to deny a morality you swore to believe in?
We all work hard the rest of our lives. I often wondered if I made a mistake. Seems the more I learn, the less I believe.
Did you ever have an affair with a grown woman?
Yes,
Was it a serious affair or just a fling?
both. I was serious about having the fling.
Why don't you just simply leave the priesthood and marry the woman?
I can't. It's not that simple.
Well, what's stopping you from marrying her?
She's already married with 2 kids. One of them is mine.
Did he call you father?
Very funny.
You must be very proud of yourself.
You know, the new pope has begun an effort to clean up the image of the Catholic Church. Do you think he'll get the job done?
There's no such thing as cleaning up something as big as the Catholic Church. How does one clean up human nature?
So you believe that corruption and foul play will continue unabated?
Oh, they'll catch someone and make an example of them. But making an example of someone isn't going to stifle the egos of anyone else.
So we can expect the same no matter who the Pope is.
Until the values society has in place begin to change, things will never get better.
Go ahead, blame society for your ills.
Youngsters don't dream anymore. Kids are graduating high school, hoping to find work in a company with a good dental plan and a month's vacation. Corporate America has swallowed them up. Too materialistic.
You know, I see that a lot. Where are the dreamers? Where are the leaders of tomorrow?
It's not the moral structure that's at fault. It's the culture and the hopes kids have for their futures.
I can understand that. I mean, if the dream is dead, nothing matters.
I mean, if you can't dream when you graduate from high school, you're definitely not going to dream when you're 40 with a mortgage and 3 kids.
You know, every once in a while, you make sense. Not often, once in a while.
I always make sense. Problem is, nobody listens anymore. People hear what they want to hear. They see what they want to see.
And what about you?
What about me?
Do you see and hear only what you want to see or hear? And could you start over and begin anew?
It includes everyone. Do we have the strength to start anew? Start all over and cleanse ourselves from every wrongdoing we've ever committed?
Well, could you start over? Putting your faults and shortcomings behind you if given the chance?
I would try to live the life I believe in, pure and holy.
One who lacks the courage to start over is already lost.
So you think I'm a loser?
Well, you're not a winner.
We're all losers. It's just a matter of depth.
How sad are you? Living all alone, a life of deceit. I mean, you've some tortured mind.
Oh, don't cry for him. He's alone by choice.
I'm still a member of the Catholic Church. The church is my family.
You mean was your family?
We'll see. We're not in New York City, not yet.
Don't do anything stupid, Paul. Remember, we have a felony warrant out for your arrest, and I don't think the bondsman would appreciate you escaping. He's already out on a limb.
I'm sorry, the bondsman? You mean the church didn't put up the money for your bail?
No, my brother did. He got in touch with a bondsman. He's a New York City detective.
Did he swear an oath of office when he took the job?
He's my brother.
So we're back to that again, huh? Tribal loyalty?
The only tribal loyalty should be to one's family.
Right about that, my dear.
It should be, but it's not.
It's the old story of the golden rule. Who has the gold rules.
And there's never been a bank teller who asked to deposit or where they got the money.
In the supposed clean image of all of our banks and credit card companies lies some of the dirtiest and ill-gotten gains imaginable.
Why should banks be any different? I mean, take a look at the sporting world. Drugs, steroids, modified bats and balls, larger rings on the basketball courts to improve scoring in a game. All adds up to making a buck.
Then why aren't you out chasing after them, Hank?
In time it could happen. Who knows? Soon I'll be chasing after that 350-pound NFL lineman who was caught dealing drugs after last year's Super Bowl.
Well, be careful before you approach Bubba. I hear he throws a pretty mean block.
Yeah, so does my Smith & Wesson.
You ever had to kill anyone?
Once, I shot a guy who was wanted for multiple murders and drug charges. He was a hitman for a Colombian drug cartel.
And did it make you feel good?
In all honesty, yeah, got rid of that slime.
I remember that incident very well. After his conviction, he fled. I read about it before we teamed up.
Yeah, I was working with another partner.
What happened to your former partner?
Went back to his wife. He's living happily ever after.
Lucky him.
There's a high level of divorce in law enforcement and bounty hunters.
Well, I guess when you're in a squad car during the graveyard shift, things can get intimate, especially if you're attracted to your partner. Especially if you're on a coffee and donut break and no one's robbing the all-night diner.
It's called temptation, John. Something that some can get by while others...
Have difficulty.
You don't have to be in law enforcement to get divorced.
You seem like a bright woman, you know.
Oh, listen, things happen in life. You know, we start out, we think everything's going to come the way we want it to go. And then one day you wake up and, well, you wake up.
Life doesn't come with an owner's manual.
How many people are where they are by choice? Usually there's a turning point somewhere in time during our lives that gets us to where we are now.
A type of crossroads that defines who we are.
I often wondered whatever happened to that handsome young man I had a crush on when I was in school.
You mean whose eyes met yours?
Yeah, him. I think we loved each other. It's just we were never properly introduced.
Whatever happened to him?
Last I heard, he got married, 2 kids, then divorced. I hope he did okay with his life. I really hope he did well.
Do you still love him?
Oh, yes, very much so. Not a day goes by that I don't think about him.
And have you learned anything from it?
Yes, Cupid sure does have one hell of a sense of humor.
Welcome to the crossroads. We've all been there. That place where everyone meets and greets each other. The only problem is we never see it coming. And we only know we've been there once we've left and moved on with our lives.
A type of bus stop where people meet and then leave.
And then probably never see each other again.
Maybe it's all a form of some kind of symmetry, some divine power testing our skills, intellect, emotions.
Do you believe in God, Hank?
I think the real question is, does God believe in me?
With all the depravity in the world, it's a wonder anyone believes in anything anymore.
Well, there is this sense of belief that there is some divine power that keeps us all going on with our lives.
Yeah, type of crossroads with a supernatural element.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah, just as if we're constantly being tested.
Well, it's not the testing that worries me. It's who's grading.
And with all the different religions and beliefs out there, I mean, it's obvious most of them are wrong, but hopefully one of them is getting it right. At least just one of them, hopefully, is getting it right.
You asked me if I believe in God. I just hope that somewhere in time, this all makes sense. You know, but all the pain, suffering, and wonders that life has to offer, this all makes sense somewhere in time.
Well, if you're waiting for a flash point to suddenly hit you like a bright idea or a freight train, you'll have a long wait.
Sounds like the man of the cloth has doubts about his own belief.
Oh, don't kid yourself. Everyone has doubts.
Now there's a revelation.
It's a part of that infinitesimal part of a second that overcomes all of us at some point.
Yeah, but I thought that people who chose to be priests, pastors, nuns, even the Pope, were above doubt.
In the back of their minds lies the little girl or little boy who had to leave it behind to become a member of any house of worship.
Oh,
That sacrifice that was demanded of them remains with them always.
And that includes you.
Yes, it includes me.
the one person you once met at the crossroads.
We all work hard for the rest of our lives, hoping the decision was made worth it. And some of us live long enough to wish we could go back into time. And it's a mixture of doubt and regret.
And what happens when you realize that you can't go back in time?
Could lead to some sort of suppressed depression, while some people succumb to irrational behavior, others
Go crazy thinking about it all, wondering what happened to it, what happened to the dream, how did we get here?
I didn't plan on getting a divorce. I'm still wondering what happened.
You know, everything's changed, and not always for the better. I remember when I could get a slice of pizza with pepperoni on it for 10 cents.
You know, I walked into the pet store the other day on Main Street, saw the price of goldfish, outrageous. I remember when I could get a goldfish for a dime.
You should be able to go into a pizzeria and get a slice of pepperoni and a goldfish for 20 cents.
Something like that.
Ew. Is anything sacred or lasting in this world?
It appears everything is under suspicion these days. The Vatican Bank, politicians buying favors and support with the clergy. And then, of course, there's...
Father Paul Morrison.
Listen, we're all born hungry, naked, penniless, unable to communicate, and crying all the time. After that, things get worse.
We're also born to two loving parents.
Is that why there are so many adoptions? And the juvenile courts are stretched to the limits?
As is the court systems, with all the vagrants and pedophiles on the loose.
It is what it is.
Do you have any remorse whatsoever? Is there anything inside of you besides organs and blood?
I am what I am. What do you want from me?
Oh, I think we all wish that you would just go away, disappear without a trace.
Yeah, if he did, though, I'd be out of a job. But it would be a better world.
Ugh, this bus stop is starting to get to me.
Why don't you take a walk outside, see if there's any sign of the bus?
Sounds like a good idea. I need to stretch my legs.
Yeah. It's almost time for the bus to get here anyway.
You know, I am so anxious to see our new niece. Can't wait.
It's all right, honey. A few hours we'll be in New York City.
Is it true it's the city that never sleeps?
Always has been for me. I've been able to get a bite to eat at any time of day, morning, noon, or night.
You know, my brother-in-law, he's got tickets to a ball game.
John, that is not the reason we're going to New York.
Yes, dear. I almost forgot.
This city has seen it all. Near bankruptcy under Mayor Beam, 9/11.
And the city's still there, vibrant as ever.
Yeah.
Good news, everyone. The bus is about to pull in.
Thank God.
Oh, hold on. Oh. Hey, Jennifer. What news? What news? What? What, are you kidding me? Is this some kind of joke? It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
What's going on, Hank?
Did you call back to make sure it wasn't some kind of a hoax?
Is Jennifer all right?
Okay, all right. There's nothing left to do. You're free to go.
Free? What's free? We have the warrants and the bond notice.
Warrant's been,
What happened?
warrant's been vacated. You have nothing to hold him on. Judge vacated the warrant and dismissed all the charges temporarily until your next court date. If I were you, I'd contact your attorney as soon as possible. And call your brother?
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening.
But what does that mean?
It means he's free to go. And we're on our way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Come on, dear, let's get on the bus.
Oh, something is wrong. Something is very wrong here. This isn't
In
right.
the meantime, let's not keep the bus driver waiting.